Chapters 3, 4, and 5. Chapter 3. While Constantine favors the Christians, Licinius, his colleague, persecutes them. Now Constantine, the emperor, having thus embraced Christianity, conducted himself as a Christian of his profession, rebuilding the churches and enriching them with splendid offerings. He also either closed or destroyed the temples of the pagans, and exposed the images which were in them to popular contempt. But his colleague Licinius, holding his pagan tenets, hated Christians, and although from fear of Emperor Constantine he avoided exciting open persecution, yet he managed to plot against them covertly, and at length proceeded to harass them without disguise. This persecution, however, was local, extending only to those districts where Licinius himself was. But as these and other public outrages did not long remain concealed from Constantine, finding out that the latter was indignant at his conduct, Licinius had recourse to an apology. Having thus propitiated him, he entered into a feigned league of friendship, pledging himself by many oaths not to act again tyrannically. But no sooner did he pledge himself than he committed perjury, for he neither changed his tyrannical mood nor ceased persecuting Christians. Indeed, he even prohibited the bishops by law from visiting the uncoveted pagans. At least it should be made a pretext for proselytizing them into the Christian faith. And the persecution was thus at the same time well known and secret. It was concealed at the name, but manifest in fact, for those who were exposed to his persecution suffered most severely, both in their persons and property. Chapter 5. War arises between Constantine and Licinius on account of the Christians. By this course he drew up himself Emperor Constantine's heaviest displeasure, and they became enemies. The pretended treaty of friendship between them having been violated, not long afterward they took up arms against each other as declared enemies, and after several engagements, both by sea and land, Licinius was at last utterly defeated near Chrysopolis in Bithynia, a port of the Chalcedonians, and surrendered himself to Constantine. Accordingly, he, having taken him alive, treated him with the utmost humanity, and would by no means put him to death, but ordered him to be taken up his abode and live in tranquility in Thessalonica. He, having, however, remained quiet a short time, managed afterward to collect some barbarian mercenaries, and made an effort to repair his late disaster by a fresh appeal to arms. The emperor, being made acquainted with his proceedings, directed that he should be slain, which was carried into effect. Constantine thus became possessed of the sole dominion, and was accordingly proclaimed sovereign autocrat, and again sought to promote the welfare of the Christians. This he did in a variety of ways, and Christianity enjoyed unbroken peace by reason of his efforts. But an internal dissension soon succeeded this state of repose, the nature and origin of which I shall now endeavor to describe. Chapter 5. The dispute of Arius with Alexander, his bishop. After Peter, bishop of Alexandria, had suffered martyrdom under Diocletian, Achillas was installed in the episcopal office, whom Alexander succeeded. During the period of peace above referred to, he, in this fearless exercise of his functions for the instruction and government of the church, attempted one day, in the presence of the presbytery and the rest of his clergy, to explain, with perhaps too philosophical minuteness, that great theological mystery, the unity of the Holy Trinity. A certain one of the presbyters under his jurisdiction, whose name was Arius, possessed of no inconsiderable logic of Hume, imagining that the bishop was subtly teaching the same view of the subject as Sabilius and Libanian, from love of controversy, took the